Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this Aqua Data Studio visual analytics overview. Okay, so we will go ahead and get started. Today's demonstration will be on the visual analytics component of Aqua Data Studio. My name is Darren Fulmer. I'm a sales engineer here at IDERA. So let's go ahead and jump in. So a couple of quick things. What is data visualization? Data visualization is the process of displaying your data in an informative way through graphs, charts, figures, bars, that sort of thing. It can be challenging for data-driven organizations to be able to make productive use of the vast amounts of data they collect nowadays. So why does data visualization work? One of the main reasons why it's effective and efficient as a means of communication is due to the nature of our human brains. Half of our brain is used to process visual information, and upwards to 65% of the population can be categorized as visual learners. So presentations that make use of visual aids are typically more significant and persuasive than those that do not. So the question becomes, how do you turn your enterprise data into viable visualizations? And that's a matter of using the right tools, such as Aqua Data Studio's visual analytics component. So Aqua Data Studio's visual analytics has extensive features designed to provide the building blocks to create eye-catching visualizations for your organization. Some of these features include the ability to drag and drop data sets to create those visualizations using filters, calculations, interactive controls. You can combine charts within a single worksheet to provide different views for specific data series. Aqua Data Studio gives you the ability to create customized dashboards that allow interaction with your visualizations, and organizations actually can start developing visualizations without the need to learn any proprietary scripting language, as in some other visualization tools. Aqua Data Studio uses SQL, and it is creating those visualizations with that SQL to reduce the learning curve for members of your database team. So very, very quick to pick up and use. Use the drag and drop functionality as well. So we're going to go ahead and let's just go ahead and get you into the actual product itself. So again, like I said, the ability to drag and drop your data sets to create these visualizations, really useful. You can create dashboards to interact with those visualizations. All right, so let's go ahead and, like I said, jump into the actual product. Don't want to spend a lot of time using PowerPoints because that visualization doesn't help you to learn. So let me switch over to the tool itself. All right, so here you can see Aqua Data Studio. Some of you may or may not be familiar with the dark theme edition in 22.2. That's what I use exclusively now. It just helps with the eye strain, looking at a white field all day long. All right, so just a quick overview. You have your workspace here. I have mine set up so that my SQL Analyzer window is in dead center. I have my list of servers on the left, my databases. I have my file system on the right. Okay, so the launching the visual analytics can be done either you can click on the Visual Analytics menu item at the top, and you can select new if you'd like, or you can actually launch from the query analyzer so that you can directly jump from the data that you've selected through your select statements right into the Visual Analytics workbook. So let me go ahead and demonstrate how you do that. So we are going to be utilizing BI Studio today, Bike Shop Data in Excel, just for simplicity. So let me go ahead and launch a query analyzer window here. And I don't know if you notice, I do utilize coloring tabs. If you don't, I'd recommend you do set that up in your server properties. So select from. So if you notice here, after I've done my select statement, and then I have my data return here, there is an icon here on the upper left corner to go ahead and open up a Visual Analytics workbook. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and open that Visual Analytics workbook. So when we do that, you notice by going directly from our data set, it's giving us all the columns, your dimensions and measures automatically populated. It is giving you your BI Studio is what we're working with, so your server that you're working with here. So it's automatically making those connections for you. And then here is where the simplicity of the tool comes into play. So we have a open Visual Analytics now. Now we can just start dragging and dropping our dimensions and measures into our columns and rows to start building a chart. So let's go ahead, for example, let's drag profit to the columns, and then let's also drag product category to the rows. Now you can see here Aqua Data Studio has already started building a chart for me. It has built-in intelligence in the Visual Analytics component. So basically, depending on what dimensions and measures you are selecting, you and drag over to your columns and rows, the Visual Analytics component will figure out what is the best chart for that data, and then go ahead and start building it. You can see that here listed in the automatic. If you want to change it to, for example, let's say you want to change to a line, you can do that. This data is not really conducive of a line. You can clearly see that. You can do an area. So you can change from the built-in intelligence to whatever chart that you may or may not need. Okay. Now, when you're working within your Visual Analytics and Aqua Data Studio, you're working with what are called worksheets. Now, the worksheets are where you're manipulating your data, building your chart, how you want it to be seen. And you can see that down here with the worksheet. So let's say we want to build a different chart. We click on the add worksheet here, or we can go up here to the icon here, or we can go to the worksheet menu. A lot of different options. Let's see here. What do we want? So let's drag profit to let's see. We're going to drag profit. All right. So if you drag an item, so exact example, we drag territory to colors, and then we added the sum and the profit. And this is going to develop a pie chart for us. Now, with any of these charts that you're working with, you can manipulate what's being seen. So, for example, if we go back to our bar chart, if we want to change the colors of the actual bars, we can do that. Just go into the color menu. Some organizations require specific coloring. This allows you to do that. If you want to add labels, you can come here and add data labels to your chart as well, so that information is available to you. You can also set it up to descending or ascending order if you'd like. So a lot of capability here. If there's a particular piece of data you want to look at, you can just highlight it, come to view data, launch a separate window with data for that particular component only of your chart. This can be exported into Excel so that you can actually add that information when you share it throughout your organization. So a lot of functionality built into the tool, very easy to manipulate and utilize. So very easy for you to go ahead and develop. Now, also a couple of other things with regards to your data information here. When you're working on your charts, if let's say you're dragged away to do something else, you can actually come up here and save it, and that will actually save into your file system over here on the right-hand side. So some other examples of charts that you can develop. You can actually develop multiple charts in the same worksheet. So for example, here we have the number of records here, number of records and your profit by week, so that you can compare that information. Now, when you're working with a calendar, for example, you have the options to come up to the actual time frame, and you can select that. And I have in this chart week by week. Let's say you want by month, just click on it. You can change it by month. You want it by quarter, you can change it by quarter. So you have that ability to look at the data in different ways right into your worksheet. Now, when you're working with your worksheets, for example, let's go back to this chart here. So worksheet doesn't really tell you much, but you can actually right click on this or click the arrow and rename it. And we're going to rename it, it is profit by territory. So very simple to change each one of your worksheets so that you know what you're working with. So this one here is profit by state. So let's just go to this one. This one's sum and profit by week. So let's just change this one. And profit by week. And the reason why you want to go ahead and rename your worksheets as you're saving them and working with them is that once you've developed your charts how you want, and let's say you've also decided to export some Excel information to go with those charts. Then you can actually then create what is called a dashboard. The dashboard is where you're actually going to be able to take those charts and share it with your organization. So now that I have a couple of these renamed, I'm going to go ahead and create a dashboard. Now the dashboard, you can click here on this icon. Again, icon at the top, or go to the dashboard menu. So let's just go ahead and click on dashboard. Now the reason why we renamed those is you can see here that it's listing all of the different worksheets that we've been working with, but worksheet 1, worksheet 2, worksheet 3, 4, it doesn't really tell you what it is. So by renaming it, you can clearly see which ones are listed here. So what we want to share with our organization is, let's say, profit by territory. So again, just click on it, drag it over, and drop it into the dashboard. And then we also want to add the sum and profit by week. So we're going to go ahead and click that, and we're going to drag it over. Now, if you notice, portions of the screen highlight, and that's telling you where you're going to drop that other chart. So you have the ability to make it look and feel how you want. So let's just go ahead and drop it on the bottom. So now we have our dashboard. Let's say this is exactly how we want it to be viewed within our organization. What you would then do is then you would come up here to File, and then Export to, and then you can save it as a PDF, image, HTML, and Excel table. That way, once you've saved it out, now you have the ability to share it within your organization to go ahead and tell a story visually about the data that you pulled out. As I mentioned before, one of the other things that you can do is you can come up here to the File menu, and you can save this file. It will appear here in your file system in Aqua Data Studio. The great thing about the saving it into the file system is, one, if you get dragged away to do something else and you need to come back to it, you're not losing any of the work you've already done. You can also take that file and share it within your organization with additional users with Aqua Data Studio, so that they can continue to work on it, manipulate the data that's being presented, make charts, whatever they need to do, so that you're able to collaborate within a team and be able to restructure and rebuild. Now, let's say one of your team members has saved it, sent it back to you. You can come up here, you can actually click on refresh all the data. And then so if they made some modifications to the data in the back end, you can reload that file, click refresh. It'll change your charts with the new data updates. So very, very easy to actually build these visualizations within Aqua Data Studio and share it within your organization. A couple other things with regards to the visual analytics. Let's say, let's go back to our worksheet. So let's say a pie chart really isn't what you're trying to develop, or it's close. This tab here called visualization gives you a listing of all the available charts that you can develop. So if you clicked on that, and you notice here is all the different options that you can choose from, and some of them have multiple options built into them as well. So if a pie chart really isn't what you want, you can come here and look at the different options. The ones that are highlighted, that are colored, you are actually utilizing the correct number of dimensions or measures to utilize that chart to change it. The grayed out ones tell you that you don't have enough data selected, enough options to be able to use that chart yet. The beautiful thing is Aqua Data Studio will tell you what you need. So if you look down on the bottom there, it tells you in order to use this chart, you need at least one date, you need one or more dimensions, and at least one measure. For example, this one here for a sunburst, you need at least 2 or more dimensions, and you need at least one measure. So Aqua Data Studio is telling you what other data points you need to be able to utilize that chart. So you're not hunting, trying to figure it out. It will help you to figure that out. So just a few other examples of some of the charts that you can build is for standard bar chart. You have your standard pie chart, as I showed. You can do multiple charts within the same worksheet so that you can manipulate more data sets to share within your organization. You can do complex pie charts. This one is showing you multiple measures and multiple dimensions all in the same pie chart. And again, you can highlight a single point of reference in that chart. You can view the data for that particular piece. You can just highlight it, keep only that portion. You can exclude it. So a lot of built-in functionality within the tool. So one of the things that we find is that a lot of times visual analytics capability in other tools is a separate component or purchase. For Aqua Data Studio, visual analytics is part of the license. So every user that has Aqua Data Studio license has the visual analytics functionality and can actually utilize this portion of the tool at any time. It's not limited to users that have a special license key. Now, more information on visual analytics can actually be found on the Aquafold website. So if you go to aquafold.com and you actually go to Aqua Data Studio, then you scroll down to the visually analyzed data. There's more information here to help you to learn to develop additional charts. So if you go to learn more, there's a 8-minute video that kind of steps you through visual analytics. There's additional information on, let's say, developing pivot tables, calculating fields. You can click on any of these to help you to learn more information on how to manipulate your data into a visual chart to share within your organization. So I was looking at the questions that had come up. So there is, one of the questions is, can you publish visualizations into your intranet? That is something that can be done. It does have the refresh option here to go ahead and refresh all data and extracts so that it updates that information. let's see here. So again, I encourage you to play around with the visual analytics. If it's something that you've not played around with in the Aqua Data Studio tool, like I said, it is there for everybody to use. It is, again, an easy way for you to actually go ahead and share that information. Because when you send somebody a complete dump of data, it's a struggle to understand what message you're trying to share. With the visual analytics, it's much easier to go ahead and develop a story behind that data, a story that can be utilized to share the message that you want to get across. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and check additional questions. So one of the things that was asked, a little off topic, but as I was mentioning about being able to take your files and share it with other ADS users, I was asked if ADS does support version control. Yes, it does. Subversion, CVS, Perforce, and Git are the supported version control platforms that are within Aqua Data Studio. Git is by far the most popular, so it has much more functionality. Let me go ahead and show that just real quick, just so everybody knows. Okay, so in my file system here, I have just standard files saved. Above that, I have files that are in my version control system. And if you go to your file system and right click, you can see version control here. And then you have your subversion, CVS, Perforce, and Git. And again, like I said, Git has more options because it's the most popular. But you can check in and check out your files so that as a team collaborating, you don't have people stepping on each other. So you're not losing data or information. All right. All right. So no other questions right at the moment. Again, I want to thank everyone for your time. I encourage you, like I said, to do a little bit more research on visual analytics, play around with developing different charts, and have fun with it. It's a piece that you may not have delved into before, but go ahead and jump into it, play around. My name is, again, Darren Fulmer, and my email address is darren.fulmer@idera.com. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any additional questions that may come up. Go ahead and contact your sales rep if you can't remember my email. But I'm a sales engineer for Aqua Data Studio with IDERA, so they'll get any technical questions that come to them over to me, and I'll get an answer to you as soon as I possibly can. Again, important to note, Aqua Data Studio supports 40 different database platforms. It works with relational, NoSQL, and cloud databases, and you can use the visual analytics on all of them. So again, play around with it. If you have additional questions, there are videos to watch or lessons out there for you. Or again, feel free to contact your rep or myself directly with any questions, and we'll get an answer for you so that you can continue to utilize the tool. Thank you, everybody, for your time today. Much appreciated that you all joined, and I hope you have a good day.